Call the March 15th Oklahoma State Board of Education meeting to order. Please stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we begin the public portion, I would like to ask for a moment of silence for a student who passed away this weekend. I believe he was a ninth grader, Tavon Dixon. So if we could have a moment of silence, please. Thank you. As a chair of the board, I'd like to offer his family our deepest sympathy on the passing of their child. At this time, I would like to ask if there is anyone from the public who would like to address the board. For a second time, is there anyone from the public who would like to address the board? I do have one letter and two statements in regards to the letter that I would like to read from the public. One received today. Dear board, I'm writing to express my concern in regards to the recent spike of COVID cases at Bailey Middle School. If I am tracking correctly, I believe last week and this week is the third or fourth time the entire school has been shut down due to a high number of COVID cases. I believe the last time the school was closed was immediately following winter break. At the beginning of the school year, we opted to have our daughter, who is in 8th grade, at school participate in in-person learning. While it is understandable that we are not out of the woods with COVID as of yet, and teachers have only just started to get vaccinated, my attention now turns to the protocols that are in place at school and any changes that may be imposed at this point. I am not seeing other schools in town being shut down as much as Bailey is, perhaps Carrigan, but the high school as well as elementary schools have been able to remain open. With 3 kids in the school system, I can say with confidence that I've gotten more COVID letters from Bailey than I have from West Haven High School and my youngest child's elementary school. In my opinion, there seems to be a systemic issue at Bailey as it relates to the COVID protocols in place, and it has brought some questions to mind that I would like the board as well as Bailey School Administration to address or to take into consideration. Please do not interpret these as being critical, but rather to start a conversation on where there may be gaps and an opportunity for improvement. Number 1, is the school implementing assigned seating in the classrooms for proper and efficient contact tracing to minimize students being required to quarantine? If I am led to believe the answer to the above is no, I say this because we are contacted by the school nurse a few weeks ago notifying me that my child has had an exposure in the classroom. I asked how close my child sits to the student being tested positive, and they did not know. Number 2, is deep cleaning of the school still being performed when students leave school for the evening and over the weekends? Number 3, are we opening windows at the school to air out the building on a regular basis? Number 4, do we need to do some re-education for teachers and students on best practice to avoid contracting COVID, e.g. out-of-state travel, participating in large gatherings, etc., and not coming to the school when you do not feel well? Number 5, what protocols are in place on the buses, as that seems to be a source of the latest outbreak? Is there assigned seating on each bus, and how many students are being placed on a bus, and is spacing adequate? While I do not expect the board to have immediate answers to the above, my hope is that it will get everyone thinking about reviewing current protocols in place and taking the necessary actions to further improve upon them. Everyone's common goal should be to keep our schools open and to hopefully get back into full-day in-person learning before the school year ends. Since I have the board's attention, there is one other minor item I wanted to bring up. I believe the student pickup procedure at Bailey needs to be reviewed. There is a crossing guard stationed at the end of the driveway entrance on Morgan Lane to assist the students leaving. However, there is a dangerous situation where vehicles are exiting on the other side of the driveway to either take a left or right turn on Morgan Lane. There are students walking on the sidewalk that crosses the driveway exit where the cars are pulling out, and on a few occasions I have seen a few close calls. Example, students crossing in front of cars that are trying to pull out, and either the driver or the student may not be paying attention. I'm not sure what the answer is, but I do believe that some type of traffic control is warranted. If time permits, I would request that someone come and observe dismissal at the school one day during the week. Thank you very much for your time. Kind regards, Rob Wayland. I believe that Rob forwarded this to one of our board members, or several of our board members, who passed it along to the superintendent. And I did receive some responses in regards to some of the things that Rob brought up. So after public session is completed, I'd like to read those for administration status of schools. So I'm going to ask one last time, is there anyone else that would like to speak during public session? Just one. I have the responses.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. No, these two are from the administration side. For a second time, is there anyone from the public that would like to address the board? And third and final time, is there anyone that would like to address the board? Seeing none, public session is closed at 6:08. Unfortunately, you can see that Superintendent Caballero is not here tonight. He is unwell and receiving some medical care and is not able to be here tonight, so he offers his regrets for missing the meeting. Under administration status of schools, I did receive some communication from him regarding the letter from Mr. Whalen. One from Mr. Bowen at Bailey Middle School that I'd like to read. And it says, unfortunately, it is true that Bailey Middle School has been hit with several positive student cases and a few positive staff cases, particularly over the past few weeks. In-person learning is our goal every day, and it remains the best option for all involved, but the safety of students and staff is the #1 priority when it comes to making the decision to stay open or close for remote learning. Bailey staff and students have done an excellent job following protocols that help prevent the spread of the virus. Masks are worn properly at all times. Social distancing is being practiced to the best of everyone's ability. Students are in cohorts with assigned seats throughout the day with minimal transition. The custodial staff at Bailey disinfects desks, high touch points, etc. nightly, Monday through Friday. As part of that process, windows are open while students are present and after students leave. The school bus was not the source of an outbreak. Students may not have assigned seatings, but are spaced out to socially distance on the bus. Masks must be worn at all times on the bus as well. That was from Mr. Bowen at Bailey Middle School. And I also have a statement, direct issued statement in regard to COVID cases in West Haven Public Schools, issued today, March 15th of 2021, from Marissa. It says, Dear Chairperson Waterfield, members of the Board of Education, faculty, staff, and concerned family and community members. First, we want to express how happy we are that many of our staff have received their first dose of the COVID vaccine this month. Our district is pleased to report that today marked the 4th clinic we have been able to offer in cooperation with the West Haven Health Department. We vaccinated approximately 475 staff members since March 1st. The decision made by the governor to give our hardworking employees a priority group was a monumental step in the right direction and certainly well deserved by our staff in West Haven who have worked so hard this year to keep our buildings open. That being said, we are certainly not in the clear relative to the COVID-19 virus, as evidenced by the notification letters you may have noted that continue to be issued from some schools. We are monitoring the cases and taking appropriate action when the safety of our students or staff is impacted. As an example of such actions, Harriet Bailey Middle School has been of a particular concern in recent weeks. As reports of positive cases were reported, the decision was made to move to a remote model of instruction in order to mitigate any possible spread of the virus. While we certainly want to avoid the disruption of in-person learning, we have to prioritize the physical safety of our school communities. We have deployed additional staff to come in and clean the building and will increase the vigilance of both staff and students in employing the mitigation strategies communicated at the start of the school year. We know that the continued and unwavering use of face coverings, hand washing, and socially distant interactions is crucial to maintaining a safe environment. We will be focusing our efforts on doing what we can to mitigate and control the spread in our buildings, and will continue to ask that all members of the school community do the same while outside of our school buildings. We look forward with great optimism as warmer temperatures and second doses of COVID-19 vaccines are approaching. Our goal is to end this school year with an addition of athletics, modified in-person celebrations, and opportunities to reacquaint with some of the normal experiences we have given up for so long. With the cooperation of all our stakeholders, we can aim high and make informed choices with the best interest of our students' well-being at heart. At this time, I would like to call on the student representatives to give their report.
Okay, so the last time I spoke to you guys, I did say that sports had 0 cases, and I would just like to retract that from anything because I did in fact change it. And we did have a few positive cases which came out our boys and girls hockey team. However, I did want to report for anybody that was wondering, the cases did not come from Western high school students. And so in some ways, I was correct in that statement, and that statement is still true right now. However, they did have to quarantine, but I wanted to let everybody know that it's not from cases from Western high school students. The next thing I would like to talk about is a group that I'm involved in at Western High School, Peer Advocates. They started an Easter egg event, which many people have taken part in, which was supply Easter eggs for candy to anybody who wanted to buy that, and that will take place next month. The next thing I wanted to talk about and invite any board member that would like to attend is our SAT Day, which is March 24th. The senior class as well as our board of ed student reps will be decorating the hallways to wish our juniors good luck in SAT that day. And then we'll also
Got a recording malfunction. Hang on one second. Our IT staff is well. No, I met Rosa. Not you, but.
Okay, so we are going to afterwards socially distance and congregate in the lobby just to welcome our juniors to school that day and wish them luck on their SATs. So I'll have Ms. Brittany send out an email at a certain time, so that's what we'd love for any board member that is comfortable and like to join us for congratulating them on taking their SATs. Some of us are on lucky and didn't get to take one this year, but we're really excited for them. We want to thank you. We're not really sure of the times yet, so I'm gonna have Ms. Brady send out an email to the board with that info coming shortly. Next, I would like to say thank you for taking a moment of silence for T-Bone Dixon. We really are excited about his passing, and we're hoping to do a day coming up in the next week or so on astatic anemia awareness, which is what T-Bone passed from, and we will be wearing red at Western High School, and hopefully we'll get some other schools involved with that as well.
I'm just going to repeat that in case the folks at home didn't hear. You're going to do a Wear Red Day for aplastic anemia awareness day in honor of Team Dixon. And that's going to be
Yeah,
upcoming.
it's not a specific day, but we're just going to do it in the next week.
Oh, during the next week. Okay, thanks, Mackenzie. Sometimes it doesn't pick up over the.
Yeah, of course.
So I just wanted to repeat that.
I'm gonna bring up some questions at the end, but I'll let Anthony go first.
Yeah, so moving on, I'd like to shift over to spring sports. We have a set date for when spring sports will begin. It will be March 27th. And as terms of all the paperwork and like COVID risk forms, it's all being taken care of online through Power School. FAFSA numbers for seniors are rising because of the implemented FAFSA challenge. Everyone who has completed their FAFSA challenge has entered into a $100 gift card raffle that happens on a weekly basis at Western High School. And I know today Mackenzie and Kenna went around classrooms, like English classrooms, discussing to seniors about the importance of FAFSA and why they should complete it. For National Honor Society, we're continuing our tutoring efforts, tutoring kids in grade school, middle school, and high school. That's going really well for all of us over Zoom. And then last week there was a fire drill, and there was a gas odor that they thought they were smelling in construction, but there was no gas leaks and everything was okay. And last year, unsung heroes for the year are security, Monty Reynolds, and Mike Eagle.
So the last question I did have about, which I'm not really sure if the board can answer. We did have a few concerns about what Mr. Cavallero had said last week, which was about setting the school day after April break. And we were just kind of wondering if there has been any updates about any new plans set in store for that, and if anybody had any updates for us.
The only update I can tell you right now is that there is no update. There is no set date to extend the school day. But that is the plan. At some point, we would like to go back to a regular day of school. So, but there is no date fixed for that yet.
I know from us, and I'm sure most of you know, which is in case anybody missed it, the only plan I was given so far was a 12:15 p.m. dismissal at the high school level, and there would be a mandatory mask break, which would double as a snack if we do get a date and as that date will approach, we'll have more questions on that. But for now, I'm just gonna let the topic rest so we can revisit it next week. The second thing that I did have asked was in the past 2 weeks or so, we have had quite a few car accidents in the student parking lot, which is right across from the tennis courts right out here. It's a dirt parking lot and it's the only place where students can park. And as we see more students getting their license, and, having fresh out of driver's ed, become park, there's no lines there. It's not a very well constructed parking lot, and I've seen at least 4 parking incidents in the past 2 weeks. And I was just wondering what it would take for us to possibly get the parking lot paved, possibly over a concrete, or getting lines put down, or even those little cylinder blocks, just so students know where to park, where they can, where they can't, and to hopefully stop the car accidents from happening.
I will definitely pass that along to Mr. Harvey and see what we can get taken care of, to make it a little safer for them. Oh. Pause for our recording to be reset. Is there a garden lot in the morning?
We have a garden lot, it probably isn't in the morning, it's when they since a lot of schools are expected. Since a lot of students do come in, second period, even third period, it gets out of time of day. We've seen, if there's not a car accident, it's people getting locked in 4 ways. It's become quite a problem, and even just leaving school, having parents come and park in and just congested more, even if there's just a way that we can get, even a guard there after school, just kind of regulate everything. I think it would be a little bit too much to have them there all the time. And telling students where to park, I think would be a little bit hard. Just something that gives students reference just because they are early practice and it's not something that comes natural.
I'll also mention to Mr. Cavallaro about sending out a reminder to parents that that is a student-only law and not a school year. Just making myself a note. Now I'm 55, I don't remember anything. Anything else from you guys?
Oh, yes. Tonight we have our new board of ed members. We're doing student reps. Our student representatives, as we've done in the past, we've done the 2-1 kind of system, but because of COVID, we were not able to interview last year, so we decided to start a new kind of tradition with how student reps will run. So this year we have 3 student reps. We have Lydia, Hannah, and Danielle, and they're sitting right back there. They're going to shadow us for the remainder of this year, and then they'll start in the fall.
And are they all in the same grade level?
Yes, they're all juniors. So then next year, hopefully around December, Christmas break, we will have new Board of Ed student reps join in, and they will do the same thing. They will come and shadow as well.
Welcome, thank you,
Welcome.
congratulations.
Thank you.
And also congratulations on making the SEC playoffs for the girls hockey team. All right, next we have approval of minutes, and we have D1A, the Board of Education meetings from January 19th, 2021. Can I have a motion? Oh gosh, I skipped overboard. Let's pass, can we pass the minutes and then we'll go back?
Yes.
Okay. Motion by Patrick, second
Second.
by Rosa. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? I'm assuming Andrea, so she was not here. All right, motion passes. And then the second set of minutes are, excuse me, hold please. Maybe we need to buy a new system. Put that on our plan. Good. All right. The second set of minutes is Board of Education meeting held March 1st.
I would like to place a motion with 2 amendments. The request for approval on D2 is not for the minutes, but for,
I see it. For Gina Giaquinto's.
resignation, and then the following motion for approval is for new hires.
Got it. You get that, Amanda? All right, do we have a second? Second by Pat Libro. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? I am going to abstain as I was absent at that meeting. Oh, and Ian Heffernan is abstaining as well. All the same. Look at the fruit discombobulated. No one touched the table. All right, we'll do board. We'll start down on that one. Andrea, do you have anything? I do not. Rosemary?
No.
Patrick?
I'm good. Thank you.
Good. Pat? Mr. Guthrie?
Just one thing, Anthony, I see you were honored for the all academic recognition, so congratulations on that also. Thank you.
Why are you smiling, losers? I'm petty vaccinated. Thank you, Bob. Good, because we don't have any much. Good.
Well, I wanted to ask a question. One time I asked him a question
Good.
of relative importance. I asked it anyway.
Okay, go ahead, Ian.
I was just thinking, since you're considering doing a Wear Red Day in honor of the student that passed away, would the possible PTA or us consider doing a bone marrow drive in his honor? Is that something that we could talk about?
I could definitely mention that to Neil and see what the, logistics would be.
Yeah, I know in COVID it's a little hard.
situation.
I know, but if it got a little warmer, we could even do it.
I'll definitely, or if you want, you can send Neil an email and bring it up.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Just a cheek swab and you.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great idea. And that's it. You good? All right. Next, we have resignations. We have one, D211-07, Mindy Bobsa. I apologize for butchering your name. Can I have a motion
Motion?
by Rosa Richardson, second?
Second.
By Ian Heffernan. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. We have a new hire, Taylor Basiglia. It is D3 21-08. I'd like to entertain a motion.
Motion?
Pat Libro, second by Rosemary Russo. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
I'd like to entertain a motion by the recording system. Not you, that's the thing. And we had a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. And new business, D4. Oh, good God. It's, I'm not exactly sure what it is. Do we have it on battery? No?
This is far more. Than usually.
Yeah. I think it might be just on its last life, it's really old. Yeah. It lived off with the dinosaurs. I think it was the first electronic device. I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the West Haven Department of Education school calendar, D4 21-09 for 2021-2022.
Motion.
Motion by Bob Guthrie, second by Ian Heffernan. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. D4 21-10, the 2-year contract for Superintendent of Schools Neil Cavalera. I'd like to entertain a motion.
Motion.
Rosa Richardson, second.
Second.
Patrick Egelum. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Excellent, the motion passes unanimously. And the rest of my agenda is just informational. So, motion to adjourn by Pat Libra, second by Bob Guthrie, all in favor? I don't think anyone is opposed. Meeting is adjourned at 6:28 PM, a record. Thank you all very